Hello everyone. I am so excited to be here for January 2022. My name is Christie Archer of Christie Archer Designs, and this is a monthly podcast that I do to share with you all of the works and works in progress that I have going, and share some of my purchases and just a little chit chat. So thank you so much for stopping by to watch my video. It really means a lot to me. I am working really hard to grow my channel and bring you guys content that I think you will enjoy. This is not sponsored. These are just things that I do for my own enjoyment. And so also, if you would like to follow me on Instagram, if you have an Instagram account, you can follow me over there. I would love to interact with you over there as well. My handle is at Christie Archer Designs, and I'll pop the link down below, as well as links to any of the other stuff that I talk about today. And if you enjoy this video and my content, I would love to have you give it a thumbs up, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. Like I said, these are monthly podcasts, and if you click the bell icon, you will be alerted as soon as my podcast goes out, so we can spend a little time together every month. All right, all of that out of the way. How are you doing this lovely January 2022? Have you been busy knitting, or have you been busy with other things? Yeah, talk to me. Tell me what you've been doing. Since I moved in my house a little over, when did we move here? I don't know, it's all a blur. It's been somewhere around a year and a half. So sad, I don't even know. Anyway, if you are a longtime viewer, you know that I move a lot, and that we have finally settled in what I am referring to as my forever home. So yay for that. And being able to settle down in my very own home has just been life altering for me. So yeah, it has been, last year was a really good year, and this year is off to a great start. So I will probably chit chat some more towards the end, but I want to get right into what you guys are here for, and that is knitting. I am wearing my very first finished object of the year. This is just a very basic, didn't really use a pattern, just did the math and whatever for this top-down raglan. And I did a 2x2 neckline, and then I did German short rows to do the neck shaping. And I decided to add this fun garter panel down the front. I'll stand up in a minute and show it to you. Or you know what? I'll just pop some pictures up here. That'll be better. And then I did this neat little garter tab in the back. And again, I'll pop pictures up of that so you can see it. But this is just, to me, the perfect wear around the house. It's lightweight. It is a cotton blend yarn, and I love the little nubs that are in it to give it a little bit of texture and variety. This gray color is right up my alley. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this sweater that I finished. So that was my very first FO of the year. And oh, the yarn that I used was Yarn Bee Fresco Fiber. And I don't think Hobby Lobby is carrying this anymore. I'm hoping come summertime they'll carry it again, because now that I have finally knit it, this yarn, I have actually attempted to make 3 different things before I finally settled on this. I had made, no, this was my 3rd thing. Sorry, I made 2 other things. I made 2 different cardigans, got all the way down to the hem on the cardigans both times and just wasn't happy with it. So this yarn has been languishing for a while, and I was very excited to finally find a good pattern for it. Or I say pattern, a good use for it. And yeah, I hope they bring this yarn back, because I would definitely buy this yarn again. It is so comfortable. And it was easy enough to knit up. Cottons are generally a little harder on the hands, but this wasn't too bad at all. So yeah, sorry, there's probably going to be a lot of ums today, and I apologize. It's been a little bit since I've done this. Okay, my second FO. Again, if you have been following me, you know that through the month of December, which thank you for all of my viewers of my Vlogmas. I apologize that it was not as successful as I would have liked. Next year, I now know not to have a lot of time constraints as far as knits during the month of Christmas. So I will be doing my Christmas knitting throughout the year this year. And that way I will have more time to focus on Vlogmas and just selfish knitting. So anyway, thank you for those of you that watched my Vlogmas. During the month of Christmas, just before Christmas, I did a test knit for Judy of the Autumn Acorn for a pair of her Magic Heel socks. And I'll pop a picture up of what I made for her. And these were just beautiful. And it was really and true, well, it was the first time I had ever made socks. I had made a sock one time before, and I didn't really have the right size needles for the yarn that I was using. And the fit just wasn't good, and I just was like, It was fun, but I didn't follow through with it, since the first one didn't fit well, blah, blah, blah. And I just never really felt like much of a sock knitter. And then I did this test for Judy, and I thought, okay, I can do this. And I've had for years, a couple of years now, requests for socks from my family members, and I just never felt comfortable doing the socks. But after doing that, I thought, yeah, that would be fun. But with the time constraint and the number of socks that I needed to do, because of course, if you knit for one person, you have to knit for everybody. And so the socks that I knit for Judy, as beautiful as they are, and I do want to go back and make another pair for myself, the cables were just not the timing was going to take too long to do all of the cables for that many pairs of socks that I had to do. So I decided to play around with my own pattern. And after working on Judy's sock sock pattern, I started thinking about the way certain stitches could work together to help naturally create the shape of a foot without having to put in a heel. And so I played around with that for a little bit. Sorry if you can hear my pups. I started playing around with it and came up with a sock pattern that I ended up making for my entire family. And as I was doing it, I was like, you know what? This is a pretty neat concept. So I decided to write the pattern. And the ones that I was making for my family were Aran weight. But my first pattern, I thought, I'm going to do the first one worsted. And I'm going to do the same concept in all of the different yarn weights, or in several different yarn weights. And so I came up with this design, and it is now released. It released this past week, and it is called Simply Irresistible Socks Worsted. And I'm going to show you the ones that I have made this month. If you want to see some others, you can look back at my Vlogmas, and I have some in there. Most of the ones that I made for Christmas are now gifted and gone. But these are all, you know, the same, so you'll get the idea. This pair I made, and it is made out of, see, this is why I keep my notes. This is made out of Yarn Bee Tweed Indeed, and I have been looking at this yarn forever, wanting to make something out of it, and when this opportunity came up, I was like, these are perfect. So it's this beautiful tweed yarn, and it is a cotton, let's see, I think it's a cotton blend. I don't have the tag with me. Yeah, it's a cotton blend, and it is so soft, and it fits so well. I'm very, very pleased with it. But basically what you do is you cast on for the cuff, and it gives you instructions on how many rounds to do for the cuff. And then, I wrote the pattern specifically so that any method you use for knitting socks, whether it be magic loop, DPNs, 9-inch circs, 2 circular needles, whatever, the pattern is written for any method. So you just follow the instructions using whatever method you prefer. So then you will work in the round, creating this front garter panel, and then the back 1x1 rib. This back 1x1 rib stretches and shapes to your ankle, to your heel, to the arch in your feet. This sock is, in my opinion, revolutionary. It is an elevated tube sock that is so much fun to knit. My testers, they didn't make just one pair. They have made pairs over and over and over again. They're obsessed, and I'm obsessed, as you will soon see. These are just so much fun. If you don't think you are a sock knitter and you ever get someone requesting socks, I highly, highly recommend this pattern. There are basically no measurements you need to get if you don't want to. This is sized from toddler. So you have extra, extra small for toddler, extra smalls for child, small is for small adult, then you have medium adult, large adult, and extra large adult. So it is literally a full range except for babies. And these make great gift knits. These make great house socks, which is what I use them for. They make great boot socks. These smaller weights will be better to wear in your shoes. And my fingering is coming out next. It should be out middle of February. Fingers crossed. So anyway, if you want to measure the circumference of your foot around the arch area, you can figure out what size would be best, but basically, as long as you have an approximate age range, you're good. You don't need to do anything. Now, these are written for short length. I do give instructions if you want to adjust the length. I do give instructions on how to make them longer. You could make them a few rounds shorter, though I wouldn't recommend making them too short. Too much shorter than the pattern's written for. But if you want to make them, you know, up to your knees or whatever, you can do that with this. It's not a problem because, like I said, it shapes and hugs, so you are good to go. I did buy some sock blockers, and I will talk about this more in acquisitions. So I will stick this on a sock blocker real quick and show you how it shapes to your foot. And there you have it. See how it shapes and hugs? It is just, and I'll pop a picture up of these as I talk about them. I'll pop up a picture so you can see them on an actual foot. But these are just, they're so much fun to make. So this is my blue tweed indeed. I think the color was called chambray. And these are knit up on a US 4 needle. And I should know what that is. Sorry. US 4 needle. I'll pop it up down here. The needle size that's used for the worsted. So that was my second FO this month. My third FO is the same thing. I'm gonna pop a picture up of it because I just wore them, so they're in the wash. And they were made out of, the black part was made out of some scraps I had left over of I Love This Cotton in black. And then the beige tan part was made out of Cot et Lin in the colorway Hummus. So that was my second FO, I'm sorry, my third FO for the month. And then I wanted for release week, and that's kind of why you're gonna be seeing a lot of these right now. I wanted for release week to have, to be able to show a different pair every day. And so I went to, and I really enjoyed the way those cotton, the blue tweed and the Cot et Lin made up. So I thought I'm gonna go get some more of Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton. And I thought I wanted to try it in a print. So I got this, and you'll have to excuse, these have been worn. These I made for my daughter. And what was it was something like Sunset. No, sorry, Paris in June. I don't know where I got Sunset. The colorway for this is Paris in June. And it turned out really cute, but there was an issue with the yarn, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I didn't realize it until after I had already started. There was no way for me to know. I had never used this yarn before. Okay, so this is, and you'll have to excuse, we're having a little bit of an overcast day. We still have some sunshine out, but my lighting's not the best today. Okay, so this is Paris in June, I Love This Cotton. And my daughter and I wear the same size sock. We wear the small size. I forgot to say that on the others. Those were size small. And I wear anywhere from like my foot is 8 inches around, and I wear like a 5.5 to a 6.5 depending on the shoe. So if that gives you a little bit of an idea. And so this is the Paris in June colorway, but let me show you what happened with the first sock that I made. And I didn't know what was going on until after I got much further into it. I guess as the dye was running through the machines, instead of the yarn must have gotten caught or something, I don't know, but instead of the colorway spreading out over the yarn, it all piled up on the yarn and created this weird stripe on this one. My daughter said she didn't care, so I wasn't happy with it, but hopefully if you like this colorway, that will not happen with your purchase. But anyway, but the way the variegated worked was really, really cute. I think it turned out adorable in this sock. So that was, sorry, I need to get my iPad closer to me so it can see my face. Okay, so that is FO number 4. Now, FO number 5, I actually started in December. Well, this I started in December too, so this I just barely had any left to do for the month of January. But my next one, I started in December and stopped because I was still focused on the test knit for the worsted weight socks. But I had some yarn in and I wanted to play around with the fingering version. So I had some Knit Picks, which I love Knit Picks yarn. Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the colorway Persimmon and Wellies. And so I wanted to go ahead and try the little, I always, when I weave in, I always leave a little bit of a tail. Does anybody else do that? I'm like so afraid it's gonna pull back through the right side if I don't. Anyway, okay, so these are the fingering version, my very first attempt at the fingering version. These are too big, there's too many stitches around, so I'm gonna have to adjust, but they're wearable. So, but this is going to be the fingering version, and I think for number of stitches around, this one will probably end up being the medium, maybe the large. Until I get it through testing, I don't really know. It's not like you can use just a standard sock gauge because it's not standard stitches, and you have to have enough, you have to have a few extra stitches in order to get the depth here so that you don't have any of that pulling across this point of your foot. So anyway, I love the way this has turned out, and fortunately, I have enough of this yarn left over, well, enough of both left over to do a second pair that will hopefully fit properly the next time around. So anyway, this will be the Simply Irresistible sock in fingering once it is released. And it goes into testing on Monday. So hopefully, like I said, I can get that out by mid-February, hopefully no later than the end of February, just depending on how fast my testers are. I mean, obviously these things whip up like that. So, and they're kind of addictive, if I haven't said that already. So yeah, that would be FO number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, my next FO, I was like, okay, I'm going to get brave and try something with a heel. And the first sock that I made that the fit wasn't good, it was a short row heel. And I'll pop a picture up of it if I still have one. I still have it, I just don't know where it is, because I recently switched from an all-in-one computer, which I gave that to my daughter, to just strictly working off of my iPad for everything. And so I don't know if that picture is on my external hard drive or if I have access to it on my iPad. If I have it, I'll pop it up. Anyway, my next sock, I thought, okay, first of all, I really wanted to make a striped sock and self-striping sock. And I bought some Patton's Croy yarn that looked like it was going to be so cute. long story short, the stripes were not what I had. Sorry, ice maker. I think I say that in every video. We're always making ice around here. I was wanting, you know, like 4 or 5 round stripes, and the colorway was so cute, and the way it showed it in the sample, it was showing, you know, fairly decent sized stripes. Well, when I got it, the stripes were doing like 1 or 2 rounds, and the colorways were kind of gradiated. It was really weird. It wasn't what I wanted, and I had made a colorway to go with it, and I'll give you a little peek. That was the colorway that I made to go with it, and my color seems to have gone dark. I don't know why. I don't know if it's we're sunny now, and it seems like my color's gone darker. Sorry about that. Oh, okay, so I made that colorway to go with the striped yarn. And when that ended up being an epic fail in so many directions, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna save that yarn for another day or another project or something. And so the yarn that I dyed up, that's what I was saying, the yarn that I dyed up, even though it was a fingering and the Patton's Croy was a fingering, the Patton's Croy, if you've ever knit with it before, and I had even read the reviews and it said that, so I was prepared for it, but it's much thicker. It's much more on the lines of a very fluffy sport. It is not a fingering. So the 2 yarns didn't work together. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go through my stash and see what I've got. So I pulled out some black yarn, which I know that was probably a mistake to knit this type of sock with black yarn, but it really wasn't that bad. So I made an afterthought heel sock, and I love it. Now, these do not show very well on the blocker, and I don't know why. Maybe it was because I kind of sort of blocked them before the blockers came in. I blocked them, or I blocked one. I'm going to put the one that I didn't block on the blocker and see if it sits better. Yeah, it does a little bit. But these are just so stinking cute. They pull kind of funny on the blocker. I don't care for this blocker, and like I said, I'll talk more about that in acquisitions, but I do love the sock. And I'll pop a picture of the sock up here or I'll pop a couple of pictures up. They fit really, really well. And of course, sorry, there's a funny hair or something on it. For my first time doing it, I wasn't sure where to place my markers for the afterthought. And I did a true afterthought, but I did want to go ahead and place markers, especially working with the black, because trying to figure out where my stitches are going across to pick up. So I ended up doing, I did 60 stitches around, and I may have to play with that because they are a little bit loose, but again, it may have been the way that I blocked them. So it's going to take me a little bit to play around with these. But I cast on 60 stitches around. I did my 2x2 rib for 15 rounds. My leg is 25 rounds, and then I had 1 round for the to insert the heel, and then my foot is 48 rounds. And then I did 4 rounds on the toe before I did my toe decreases down to 14 stitches on each needle, so 28 stitches total. But let me show you, I don't know if you could tell, but look at this heel. I did the heels differently, and I love the way the heel turned out. Instead of the heel looking like this, I did my decreases different and got this nice, neat little tidy angle or decrease, whatever decorative look. Okay, so for my heel, I did 6, and I did these on US 1.25, I'm sorry, 2.25, 1.25, 2.25 millimeter needles. Okay, so I did 6 rounds plain, and then what I did for my heel is I would start off with a slip knit. No, I did this backwards. Start off with a knit 2 together, knit to the last 2 stitches, and do a slip knit. Do the same thing on the other side, and then a knit round. So I just did that instead of this being knit 1, and then slip knit to the last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1. So I reversed it and removed the first knit stitch, first and last knit stitch. I hope that makes sense. Am I saying that confusing? It's not confusing. It's very easy. I promise. I'm probably just not doing the best. I can write it. I don't know that I'm saying it very well. But have any of you ever tried this heel before? I saw it and made my own adjustments to it, but I got the basic concept from Roxanne Knits, Roxanne Richards on YouTube. So I got the basic concept from that, and I love the way it turned out. She did her slip knits a little differently than me, and also she started on the round before, which I get that because that's how I do my sleeve decreases. But I found on this that it really wasn't necessary. And she does it to help line up the, so if you start your decreases on the end of the last round or the end of the previous round, and then so when you get back to the end of that round, you don't decrease. So you'll decrease at the end of the previous round, and then at the beginning and end and beginning of the front and back, but then you don't decrease again on the end. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, it keeps your decreases from jogging. But again, I didn't see any jogging. I don't even know which side has the jog and which side doesn't. I'm sure if I put my glasses on and really stared, I might be able to figure it out. But to me, I just did it normal. So that is that heel, and I am thinking about writing this pattern after I get my Simply Irresistibles written up in the different sizes that I'm wanting to do those in. What do you think? Is this worth writing or not? I mean, I love a good vanilla sock. Maybe I can add something to it, add a little color work or maybe a texture or something. But I will say there are not a lot of afterthought heel vanilla sock patterns written. And so it was a lot of trial and error for me. So I may write that just to give a lot of tips and tricks along the way, like the measuring process and that type thing. So we'll see. I may end up doing that. All right. I hope I didn't get too rambly on that sock. Oh, and the yarns that I used, they're all my own hand dyed. So I cannot remember which of my blacks this was. This was a custom color. Like I said, I made it to go with that Patton's Croix. And then this was my Good Vibrations. And these are all superwash fingering. The green may be an MCN. Not that it matters. Does it really matter? Oops. Okay. Next up, when I realized the issue with the variegated socks that I made, and also another thing to note about the variegated socks, I did not realize this when I purchased it, but it did not have 180 yards in the skein like their solids do. So that was another reason why I made these for my daughter, made them a little shorter. But I don't know if you can tell, I had to add some solid white there on the end because I ran out of yarn. So with that being the case, I decided to go back and exchange, because I think I had picked out, I can't remember what else I had picked out, but whatever it was, I exchanged it for 2 other solids. And for me and my size and my length, I can make a full pair of socks out of 180 yards. So these I did 2-toned, and I'll be able to make the reverse pair. Let me just show you. So this is, I'm calling these my harbor socks because my daughter said one of the places we used to live, when we were up north in, where were we? We were in Provincetown, Massachusetts. Oh my goodness. We were on the Cape. The hotel that he ran was called Harbor Hotel, and she said these reminded her of the colors from Harbor Hotel. So I named these my harbor socks. And these are so stinking cute. So let me slip it on a blocker real quick. And I do love these. They are so comfortable. I enjoy the cotton. For me, they're really nice. All right, so harbor socks, and they are in, I love this cotton. I'll have to go grab my sock bands because I don't have them with me right now. So on my second pair, I'll be able to do the orange here and the teal on the cuff and toe. And so I'll be able to get 2 pairs of socks. Sorry, my ridges aren't lining up. It looks funny. But anyway, cute, cute, cute. I love them. That was project FO number, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that sounds like a lot, but these literally take me 2 days to make max, and that's with me just leisurely knitting. So that's why I'm able to pop these out so fast. My last pair, my last FO. I'm actually super excited about these. Out of all of the yarn that I've used, this is my favorite, and that's saying something because I really love the cotton. But these fit and hug and keep my tootsies warm like a dream. So this is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash in Cobblestone Heather and Fjord Heather. I have been dying to wear these. I'm so glad I'm going to wear them today. So glad I'm finally doing this podcast because I was holding off on wearing these for the podcast. These are amazing. I love these. Love them. These are the best. I don't have them on quite right. More garter on this side, but you get the idea. They are so, and I love the colors. Oh, this is my color theme for the year. Well, not necessarily this color of blue. It's going to be more of this color of blue, but they didn't have this color of blue in this yarn, so I'm gonna have to find, but I still love them. I love them, love them, love them. They are so comfortable. These truly fit. If you're going to make these, I do highly recommend Wool of the Andes Superwash. And their colors, they have so many colors. As a matter of fact, I told my husband after making this, I'm going to go ahead and order colors for my entire family, and all year long, I'm going to be making these. And then, like I said, that way come Christmas, I'm not doing any gift knitting. So I'm going to do all of my gift knitting throughout the year. Like I said, I made these for my family this past year. Everybody loves them. They absolutely love them. So I am excited about getting started on gift knitting for 2022. Does anybody else start that early? I've never really done gift knitting. This was the first year I've actually done it. Is that bad? I'm a very selfish knitter. But these are so much fun to knit that I'm actually super excited about gift knitting this year. I cannot wait. I want to get a cute little box to put all of my little gift knits in and start working them up. And I'm going to create a little Christmas gift list and yeah, get started on everything for everyone. That's going to be a lot of fun. Sock knitting. This is going to be a very sock knitty year for a couple of reasons. And I think I've talked about this before. I can't remember. But I'm in the process of losing weight, and I really don't want to make a bunch of garments right now until the weight's gone. There are a couple of cardigans that I'm working on, or will be working on, and I'm okay with those because those can be kind of oversized and frumpy once the weight is gone. So, but as far as anything else, I really don't want to do much else. So it's going to be fairly sock intensive in the beginning of the year. So come fall, I'll probably start more garment knitting. But like I said, until then, it'll just be cardigans and socks and maybe some hats for gift knitting for Christmas as well. And I am thinking about making me one of those little headbands. I try to imagine myself in these kind of things. I guess it's nothing more than a little bit of time and yarn. I could devote a little bit of time and yarn to see if I like it or not. I just don't know, with my hair being so short, and I just can't grow my hair out anymore. As much as I would love to have long hair again, my hair is just so thin now. That's why I have to bleach it. And I know, okay, side tangent, sorry, but I know my roots are really bad, and it's because I haven't decided if I want to go back to foiling again. I've been doing the all over bleaching, and again, it's to help give my hair a little bit of volume. I just don't feel like the foiling is enough. But of course, the foiling is nicer when it grows out. It doesn't look as bad. Not that I go anywhere, do anything. You guys are the only ones that ever see me, so do you guys hate my roots? Does it bother you? Does it make you want to turn off watching my videos? So yeah, I don't know. I may end up just bleaching again, but I haven't decided. And I know the other thing is once I go to foiling, it will be really hard to go back to bleaching after that without creating some damage and some color. It just, because once you bleach the hair, and if you go back over it with bleach again, so if I foiled it, and so foiling, some of the hair is bleached and some of it isn't. So if I decided afterwards that I wanted to go back with bleaching all over, I would either have to carefully pick out all of the hairs that had not been bleached, bleach those, and go back and bleach the roots again, or just bleach over everything, and then the hair that has already been bleached is just going to go a little bit lighter. So it just ends up being a little bit of a mess. Do you guys even care? No, probably not. But that's why my roots look so bad. Forgive my roots. Okay, my last FO for the month of January, and I'm so happy with them. I'm going to put them on right now. Feel so good. Look, they're so cute. I love them. All right, I have been wanting to wear these for a while now. Or if you, oh, those feel so good. All right, FOs done. Let's talk whips. The first whip I'm going to talk about is a cardigan, and I've kind of sort of talked about this project previously, though I have not shown it because it was not started, I'm pretty sure. This is another Ramona cardigan. I had made one in a solid black because I need a solid black cardigan so bad. And long story short, the yarn, I'm not happy with the yarn. It, no matter what I do, it has white, it's not fuzz on it, but it's like pill, but it's a black yarn, solid black yarn. Anyway, it just stays yucky looking, and this year I really want to try to work with yarns that are going to be as carefree as possible. I don't like having to shave every time I go to wear something, I have to shave it. I'm not into that. I don't mind shaving every now and then, but I don't want to have to shave something before I put it on every single time. So this is a yarn that I have used in the past for a sweater. I used it for a raglan, and I have worn that sweater a lot. It has never pilled. It has never created any issues. And I actually made a pair of socks out of them as well. That's what I was looking for. I'll pop a picture up of the socks. And this cardigan is turning out really cute. It is the Ramona cardigan. Did I say that already? I'm blabbering too much. Okay, so I have the entire body done. And I have picked up for my first, you guys don't want to see the inside, do you? For the first button band. And I would have finished this last night, but my husband went to bed early and I needed to figure out my button placement for the buttonholes because this is the side that gets the buttonholes. So I did the math and everything, figured it out, but I didn't have yeah, long story short, I ended up not doing the buttonholes last night. So I'm gonna do that today, get this done, get the other button plaque done. Then I have to find buttons that I like for this, because I don't want white buttons. That's just gonna be too contrasty. And I don't want blue buttons. I think I wanna go with either like a gray, and that's probably what I'll end up. What would really look cute is just a rustic looking like wooden button. But I don't really do a lot of brown. So I'm thinking I'll probably go with a gray of some sort. But anyway, after I do the button bands today, I will cast on for the sleeves and get this sucker finished. The Ramona Cardigan, okay, I said this is a Ramona Cardigan. Technically, it is not. I bought the Ramona Cardigan for the first pattern. I personally prefer the construction being done differently. So I start again with the collar because I hate picking up stitches with a passion. So I did the collar, and then I did my German short rows for the shaping. And so I just kind of modified it to fit my needs. This one, I did do the decorative raglan increases, and basically what she does is make one, knit one, and then it has a garter ridge, and then knit one, make one, blah, blah, blah. I guess I shouldn't give away too much, but it's not giving away really much of anything. Anyway, and then there is the faux seam down the side, and then the textured rib at the bottom, which I just love that. And I think, sorry, my nose is itching all of a sudden. I can't remember if my blogs are running, my podcasts are running together. Can't remember if I had talked about, oh, I know what it was. I talked about it on my 2021 knits video. So if you haven't seen that, I'll talk about it. I had done a sweater out of this. I had used this in a sweater before, wasn't happy with the way I had done it. And so I was very happy with the way she used that stitch. And so that was one of the reasons why I was drawn to this pattern. So anyway, yeah, this is the heavily modified, inspired by Ramona Cardigan, done out of Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee Rustic Romantic in colorway Blueberry Bushel or something like that. It's the only blue they have. It was knit on for the body, and this down here I used US 8. And for the 1x1 ribbing, I am using a US 6. And using my Chow-Goo needles, interchangeable. That, I'm really excited about getting this done because I can see me, can you see a theme with the types of yarn that I like? I like it a little bit rustic. I love heathers. Love heathered yarns, tweed yarns. I do prefer my solids. Solids with a little bit of something to them. So yeah, I'm really excited. It should block out beautifully. I hate showing stuff that has not been blocked yet. That kills me. I'm excited about it. This is going to get a lot of use. I know it is. That is whip number 1. Whip number 2 is living in my project bag that has fuzz on it. All right. My next project is another sock with an afterthought heel. I had some of the raspberry, is what I'm calling the color. I had some of that color left over. I had found this yarn. This is the Yarn Bee Authentic hand painted, hand dyed tone. I don't remember. It's not the tonal because it's multicolored. What is it called? I know my face is too far away. Don't you love it when you're... Oh, you know what? Oh, I've got it right here. This will be a lot easier. Okay. Hand-dyed blend. Okay. So this is Yarn Bee hand-dyed blend in Indigo Desert. And I love this colorway. I know I just finished saying that I prefer solids, and I do. But I think for socks, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun and just try all kinds of things, especially in the beginning. But who doesn't love fun feet, right? Okay, so I used my hand-dyed sea glass colorway for the top, and then the Yarn Bee Desert, Indigo Desert for the body, and isn't that adorable? And then my hand dyed at the bottom. And then for the heel, you guys like my cute little stitch markers? I'll talk about those in acquisitions too. I love the rose color. Anyway, okay. I digress. So I think on this one, because this yarn was a little bit thinner, my stitches were a little bit tighter. So this is 60 stitches, but it actually fits me better than my other, because this yarn, like I said, is a little, it's more of like a light fingering. And I really, really, really like the feel of this. It's a different, normally the Yarn Bee hand dyed is 100% wool. But this one is, sorry, I cannot see. This is 50% superwash merino and 50% lyocell. And it's kind of silky. I like it. It would be really good for shawls. But I'm hoping, because of the lyocell, I'm hoping it'll hold up really, really well for socks. And that was one reason why I got it. So anyway, this is the first one, and I'm ready to cut in the heel. And my heel is going to be done out of this colorway. Now, I will say that this and this are both a sport yarn, but I'm able to knit them up really tight, and I have actually discovered that I think I'm going to enjoy knitting fingering weight socks on sport weight yarn, because I like how dense, it makes a really dense fabric. So I thought these were colors that I already had scraps left over of, and I thought I'm gonna try it and see if I can get it to work together. And it's working together fine. And I thought, with this being a heel, that it's just gonna be that much sturdier for wear. So yeah, anyway, sport weight on both of these, superwash. And I'll have to look back at the old project and see if these were 100% merino. I think they were, which makes me nervous using 100% superwash merino for socks. Have you guys had any issues with 100% merino superwash? I want it to last. But fortunately, with me doing an afterthought heel, I can always, if I need to, take it out and put in another heel. I know this is 75-25, so I don't worry about this, but we'll see. Anyway, I thought that was just a fun little color combination just to make some fun, quirky socks. I really wanted to do the raspberry on the heel and do the green on the toe, but I only have just enough left to do the toes. So because I do 6 rounds on the heel, and I did 6 knit rounds on the heel versus 4 knit rounds up here, I was afraid I wouldn't have enough for, and of course you knit more rounds on the heel because you take it down to a smaller diameter. So I was afraid I wouldn't have enough of this for the heel. So it's a little off balance as far as the weight of colors. The heavier color should have been for the heel, but that's okay. They're socks. Does anybody else get really weird about that? I just realized that probably sounded really weird. The heavier color, that's the decorator in me. I try to keep things balanced and in thirds and blah, 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 blah. Or in odds, I should say, not thirds. So anyway, that is that. And I think that is going to be adorable. So I will get these, the heel, I may do that today before I get back on the, no, I'll do the cardigan first. So then I'll get back on these, and I should have these finished by the weekend, the other sock as well. Are you tired of me yet? Let's see, I've only been going for an hour, that's all. And I think most of you watch for about 10 minutes. I'm probably talking to myself right now. Am I talking to myself? That's okay. I'm pretty good company. Just kidding. Okay, we're gonna get into, or I'm gonna get into my acquisitions. I don't normally have an acquisition section, but I may start doing that because I can see me building a stash, which, speaking of stash, I am going to be doing another video devoted strictly to my stash and leftovers and what I plan on getting rid of and blah, blah, blah. Future makes and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, watch for that. I think I'll be posting that either on the same day this one goes out, or I may do it next weekend just to give a little bit of space. Okay, acquisitions. We'll talk about the sock blockers first. I bought these from a seller on Etsy, and I hate saying that because they deserve to have their name shared, not just Etsy. I'll put their name in the description box below. But that said, I don't know, I may not share this one because I'm not crazy about the shape of them. I don't know if you can tell, but it literally bulbs out down here. And it just makes the socks look kind of weird. I'll put a sock back on and see if you can see what I'm talking about. To me, it looks weird. And these are my first sock blockers. Is this normal? I don't know. But see how it bulbs? And I bought these not for really blocking near as much as I did for showcasing. And that just looks weird to me. I mean, it looks like, to me, it needs to go more straight. It's like that just needs to be shaved off. And I don't mind a little bit of the shaping here because that's normal. But again, it seems too bulby, too bulky. I don't know. It's weird. So I did buy some sock blockers. They were only $10. I can't complain. But they are shaped kind of weird. And if I could go back and cut it down myself, I would. But I know that would just make it as delicate as that wood is. I would not be successful with that. Okay, I did another Knit Picks haul. Oh no, let me talk about one other thing I got off of off of Etsy. And again, I hate saying that, but I finally I broke down and bought one of these. But what are these things called? Stitch cords or something like that. I just thought it was ridiculous. The price people were charging for the short lengths just because it came in a little metal tube and because they named it something specifically for knitting. So I did a ton of research. Oh my gosh, this was several weeks of researching to figure out what people were using to make these things. They're not making them, they're cutting them to length and sticking them in a little metal tube and putting a sticker on it. Good for them, they're making money at it. I don't knock anybody for doing it. I'm just saying for me, I didn't want to pay for the tin. So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of research later, I discovered that you can buy this off of Etsy. It's in the jewelry category, jewelry and crafts and jewelry category. And I will link where I bought mine, but you can get others. And of course it comes in all the pretty colors. I just prefer white. I don't like a bunch of funky colors. So anyway, bought this and got this huge bag. I will be able to make all the lengths that I could possibly use. And I've got it like this because I just unwound what I needed to try on something and just left the rest wound up in the bag. So it works fantastic. You just stick it on the tips of your needles. Okay, I don't have my glasses on. Slide your work onto it. You guys didn't see any of that. Sorry. Let me try that again where you can see it. Okay, you stick it on the end and it doesn't come off. And then you can slide your stitches onto it and try on whatever you need to without the hassle of having to take your needle off, add another cord, stretch it out, put it back, take the cord off, put your needle back on, blah, blah, blah. This, you just pop it on and then pop it off, and it's definitely brilliant. I will give whoever came up with using this material for that concept or for that purpose, hats off to you. You are brilliant. Very, very, very smart person. And it's kind of stretchy, and the first one that I bought actual silicone tubing that I found off of Amazon, and it had not sticky, but the yarn was sticking to it more so than it does this. It does this a little bit, but not like the other silicone. This has almost more of a plasticky feel to it, whereas the other silicone was more of like a rubbery feel. So anyway, I'll link this in the description box below if you are interested in getting your own big, huge thing of stitch holders, whatever it's called. Okay. I have I have a set of knitting needles that I bought and I never used because I hated the cords. And then the cords started falling apart when I did use them. So I am going to start with that and then I'll show you what else I got. So I have Knit Picks Zing needles. And I've talked about them before. I can't stand the color. I wish they were just silver, and I'm still working on a way of getting the iodized coloring off and polishing and all of that so that I can turn these into solid silver. Why, you say? Because I already have a set of ChiaoGoo, and I love my ChiaoGoo. However, I do find, because I use my fingers a lot, that the ChiaoGoo are pointier, they're sharper, and so after a while they do start hurting. And I do really like the feel of aluminum in my hands. So one of these days I'm going to get these things exactly like I want them. The other thing I hated about those was, like I said, those plastic cords that you buy with them. And these are Knitter's Pride needles. Knitter's Pride has recently come out with, let me show you that. Okay, they have come out with a Mindful needle set, and I did buy the Mindful 32-inch circs for my socks, and they're really neat. They have the measuring, no, these do not, never mind. I was going to open that up. The other cords do, but anyway, they have little, and of course I can't see if you guys can see, has little words on each of the needles. And I don't know if you can see that. It says calm. Anyway, they are Mindful. So each different size needle says something different to kind of keep you mindful, to stay calm and stay, you know, to breathe or whatever. So I got these, and I love the way these are stainless steel too, but there is something different about the texture of these versus my ChiaoGoo that I love. After having discovered these, now I'm thinking, instead of worrying with these needles, the Zings, I think what I'm going to do is just buy me a set of the Mindful needles. And they have them in the 4 inches. Well, 4 inches what I use. Eating my hair. So anyway, love those needles. Absolutely, highly recommend. So the reason I discovered that was because I was buying the cords for my interchangeable Zings. These are made for the Mindful interchangeable set, but they fit the Zings as well. They fit all of their needles. So I can get my Zings, I can use my Zings now and have a normal, these are just like the ChiaoGoo cords. And these are neat because it also has this the little markings, so you can measure, which is nice when you're counting stitches. You want to know how many stitches go for however many. You can just put your stitches on here and say, okay, there's 4 inches. How many stitches are in between? I love that. Instead of having to sit there and count 1 stitch at a time. So anyway, I bought all of these cords. I bought 2 of each size because I hate not having a cord when I need it. So I don't remember the sizes I got, but I have a bunch. 1, 2 of that size, which these are probably the 16-inch, which I use a lot. And then these are probably the 22-inch. Oh, it says on the cords, I forgot about that. That's very handy. It says on the cords, the lengths, 24-inch. Okay, can't see this one. 16-inch, yeah, those are 16. I know I got or maybe they don't do 22. Maybe it is. Oh, I know what it is. It's 24 inch, but because I use 4-inch needles, it's 22 inches for me. So anyway, I got a plethora of cords. Love them. They are fantastic. If you have any knit picks, not knit picks, sorry. Well, these would work with knit picks as well. If you have any Knitter's Pride, Knit Pro, or Knit Picks needles, and you want better cords, go get those Mindful cords. They are fantastic. And then I was missing 2 needle sizes. Sorry, trying to get them out. So I bought 2 more neaters. I got 2 more sizes of the Zing needles after I realized that I love the Mindful needles. I should have just bought those. But I got 10 and 10.5. And then now I got the Knitter's Pride Mindful cords off of Etsy, linked down below. Then I got this adorable case. I still have a tag on it. Let me take the tag off. Okay. I got this adorable case to hold all of it. And this is Knit Picks again. It has a zipper. Well, and I have, what do I have in here? I can't remember. Oh, I have another pair of needles that must have been the, what is going on? What size are these? These are my US 10s. I don't know what I showed you a minute ago. Why are these not? Okay. All right, so it has a zipper pocket. It opens up. I've got a key in there. Not that I use it, but it's just an emergency key because I keep all of my other keys on my knitting table. And then it has this accordion folder, accordion pocket for, I put all of my cords in there. And then it has a pocket back here. I guess you could put patterns or whatever. I do everything digital. And then it has a place for all of your needles, and it holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 needles, 9 sets of needles. And that is and this one is called a clutch, I believe. And I got it in the color rose gold. So, love that. Next up, I got, you'll have to wait, buddy. You're gonna have to wait. You don't need to go out. Okay, I also got stitch markers from Knit Picks, and I love these. They are so pretty. Okay, so each style comes in, I'm gonna show you one style of each in each of the colors, because that, oops, go. Okay. Oh, nope. There are 3 colors, 4 colors, 3 styles. Okay, so it comes in gold, and you get 4 gold bulb markers. And it has large stitch rings. And this one is the rose gold. I'm so sorry to cover my mouth, but I don't know how else to get this to focus. Okay, so there's the rose gold color, which you've seen on my socks. And then it has like a gunmetal color, which is showing up silver, but it's kind of a gunmetal. Maybe I'm trying to see if there's a difference in the silver. I guess it is a silver. Sorry, I thought it was more of a gunmetal. Okay, so you get small stitch markers, large stitch markers, and bulb stitch markers, and you get 4 of each color, and there are 3 colors. So you get silver, gold, and rose gold. And those have been very useful with the sock knitting. That's why I bought these. But I am very happy with the round stitch markers as well. And it comes in the nice little tin, which is nice to kind of keep everything together and not get lost. Okay. One of the things that I got was the socks that I'm wearing. I got that yarn and have tons left over, probably enough to make my daughter a pair. And so this is Wool of the Andes worsted superwash in Fjord Heather and Cobblestone Heather. I'm definitely going to be buying a lot more of this yarn. I love it. Okay. Next up, I wanted to try their cotton for my sock pattern. So I got Comfy in colorways Honeydew. How cute is that? So this is Comfy worsted, and I've used Comfy yarn before and I love it. I've used it in the fingering, so I'm very excited to use the worsted. I said I bought these for my sock pattern. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with them. Started to say I may do a heel flap and gusset just to try those. I don't know, we'll see. And then this colorway is Seafoam. And I thought those would just make a fun little summery pair of socks. I think that's cute. And my daughter said these look like Harbor Hotel too. You guys should have seen Harbor Hotel. It was done in kind of, it's funny because it was done in kind of like a 70s vibe. And I'm not a 70s person as far as colors or whatever, but I guess with socks, I'm just having fun with sock colors. Okay, and I also got, because like I said, I'm getting ready to release my sock version of the Simply Irresistible, so I bought a bunch of yarns to make up some of the sock. I got this, which I have been oohing and ahhing over this forever and did not know what to make out of it. So I was so excited when I finally had socks I could make out of it. And I don't know, is my color going really weird or is it just me? It's like my lighting has gone weird. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting, hopefully the color's not too weird on this video. Okay, so this is North Pole Heather in Stroll Tweed fingering, and I will be able to make 1 pair of socks out of this, and I am going to be doing the heels and toes, sorry, the cuffs and toes out of the Wellies Heather. So that will be a set. That will be a pair of socks. And then I got Stroll Dogwood Heather, and I will be using the cuffs and toes I will be doing out of Jackrabbit. And I probably need to get some more of this because this will actually end up doing like 5 pairs of socks just using the cuffs and toes. But I also got Wonderland. And again, I will be using the Jackrabbit with it. So I'm going to try the end of this video again because what I thought was changing light was actually my phone was dying and it had gone into power saving mode. So that's why the screen kept getting dark. Hopefully it didn't affect the video. I apologize. I am recharged and back, and I just had one more yarn to share with you for acquisitions, and that is Knit Picks Mighty Stitch And boy, am I excited to use this. I cannot even tell you how I know you probably get sick of hearing people say, oh, it's so soft. This is really so soft. And it's like it almost has a silkiness to it. So it's not that it's like squishy. I mean, it is squishy, but it's soft in a different way. It's really, really neat. So I'm excited about this. I bought this because my daughter is wanting me to make her the winter chill hoodie. And I have the pattern already. And I was struggling on yarn. I think I've mentioned that before. I was struggling to find a yarn that I thought was going to do well. And so when I placed the order from Knit Picks, I went ahead and added this. And I'm so glad that I did. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of other chunkier weight projects that I am getting ready to do, and I think I'm going to buy some more of this for that. So that is it for my acquisitions, and I will quickly, well, I do have one more acquisition, but it is not in yet. I just placed an order last night, and this will kind of segue into future makes. So for the month of February, I am going to, sorry, it feels like, I hope it doesn't look like my eye is black right there. It's not. I think it's just the lighting. Anyway. Okay, first of all, I follow somebody on Instagram that makes crochet patterns, and I have attempted, okay, step back. When I very first, as a child, started doing stuff, my mother first taught me to knit. I sort of I was really too young to really get into it. So I tried it a little bit. Looking at it now, I know I was having problems with it, and now I know why, because my stitches were twisted and I didn't know what a twisted stitch was, and I was struggling to get the needle to go in the wrong leg of the stitch as I was knitting. Anyway, I digress. From there, as a young adult, I got into crochet. And when my oldest was a baby, I crocheted him all kinds of sweaters and blankets and all of that good stuff. And then I got out of it. I just really wasn't into the look of crochet. So fast forward, we moved a lot, blah, blah, blah. It was hard to keep up with my sewing. And so that's when I picked up knitting, fell in love, haven't looked back since. And all of that to say that I am going to be making a crochet project this month, and I'll pop a picture up of it. I do not remember the name of it, and I don't have my iPad with me now, but it's a little wall hanging for Valentine's Day. So I thought that would be a fun little easy project to get back into the crochet side of things. And then there's a couple of other Valentine things I'd like to knit. I don't know how much of that I will get done. I will be doing the cape, hooded cape for my daughter. And wow, I'm all over the place now. The kit that I just bought last night. Okay, so I just watched Michelle from My So-Called Handmade Life. It's a podcaster that I've been watching from the beginning of me watching podcasts. And she has not podcasted in about a year because she moved and life was crazy. So she put out a podcast this past week, and I watched it yesterday or day before. And she was talking about Two of Wands, which I know of Two of Wands. I made some of her patterns. But she was talking about the Hue and Me line that Alexandra of Two of Wands had done with Lion Brand. Two of Wands does a lot of Lion Brand patterns. So anyway, she was talking about the You and Me yarn, and she was talking about, you know, of course it's a, well, if you don't know, it's a bulkier weight yarn, so it knits up really quick and everything. But the thing that got me was she was showing a sweater that she had worn a ton, and she said it was just starting to get a few pill balls on it. So that really interested me. And so I went on Lion Brand's website and was looking at some of Two of Wands patterns, and I picked out a kit. I've never purchased a kit before, but I picked up a kit to do Two of Wands campus cardigan, and I got the colorway Ozone. I'm really excited about that. I'm not sure what the color is going to be when it comes in. And on the website, it looks kind of blue, but I was looking at pictures on Ravelry, and it's anywhere from a pale blue to a gray. So I'm hoping it's going to be more on the blue side because that's really what I wanted. But if it's gray, it's not the end of the world either. But it's just this oversized, very relaxed, chunky cardigan that I think would be fantastic with my leggings and tank tops. Just throw it on when the house gets cold, or when it gets chilly in the house. It's weird. I live in the desert, for those of you that don't know, and in the summertime is when I end up wearing all of my sweaters because the AC is blowing so hard in the house in order to get the front of the house, because it's what gets all of the sun. And my bedroom and where I generally hang out is at the back of the house. I freeze back there. So consequently, I wear most of my cardigans and sweaters and all of that stuff during the summertime. But anyway, and I like to be able to wear my tank tops so that if I need to go outside in 120, 130 degree weather, I can just drop the cardigan and walk the pups or whatever I need to do. So anyway, I'm doing that. I also have some yarn to do a vest for my daughter. I also have some more of that the Yarn Bees Rustic Romantic, the blue cardigan that I showed. I have some of that in gray, and I had planned on doing the Ramona style cardigan in that as well, but I may change it up a bit and do something a little bit different. I'm not sure yet. And then of course I'm going to be knitting up the socks for the fingering weight pattern I'll have coming out, and I'm sure I'll be knitting up some more of the worsted because they're just so much fun. So yeah, that's looking ahead a little bit. Other than that, I think I've covered everything. I feel kind of weird because of my camera cutting off, and it's been a couple of hours since I videoed. So I kind of lost a little bit of my train of thought. But I think that's it. So tell me what you have been working on. If you're on Instagram, tag me in some of your most recent projects. Tell me what you plan on making. And if you have a favorite Knit Picks yarn, tell me about that. Other than that, I think that is it for this month. So I will see you again for my regular podcast the last Sunday of February. And I hope to have my yarn video up. If not before next Sunday, then I will put it out on next Sunday. And I will see you again soon. Thank you so much. If you have made it all the way to the end, comment below and just let me know I made it to the end. Because I know that is a long one and that is to be celebrated. But yeah, I thank you for stopping by. I really, really do. And I appreciate you subscribing and liking the video, and any of your comments are always appreciated. So it helps get my numbers up there, which I'm trying to do. So we'll see how it goes. Talk to you again next time. Bye.